Oh, hello there. It's your Uncle Terry here, Terry Bush. It's Terry's story time. Grim Tales from Up North. This one's cracking. It's called The Little Girl with No Hands. Right, there's this baker and he lives in woods with his family. Just baking away he is. He doesn't just do bread. He does like cakes and pastries, pies, flans, sweets, fancies, perhaps even an egg custard every now and again, you never know. Right, and remember, if you do eat that kind of stuff, remember to clean your teeth at least twice a day because your teeth will drop out your head, won't they? But this is set way back in the past, before brushing teeth were even invented, when everyone's breath just smelt of poo all the time. Right, so there's this baker, and he's chopping wood for a fire. The devil sneaks up upon him and says, "Boo, my good man, I will make a deal with you. I will offer you untold wealth and riches for whatever lies beyond that wall." Now, this baker's a bit of a dimwit, and he goes, "Aye, all right then," because he thinks, well, there's only an apple tree behind that wall. There's nowt in the garden. I'll do it. The devil says, "I'll be back in 1 year to claim my prize." He goes off on his way, the devil does, and the baker just goes back to his work. He tells his wife the next night, and she says, "Why didn't you tell me any of this, Paul? What do you think was going to happen? Do you know what was behind that wall?" "Well, it was an apple tree, I assume, woman." "No, it wasn't an apple tree. It was your daughter, you stupid blinking nincompoop. Look what you've done now. You've made a deal with devil for your daughter, the poor lass." And he goes, "Oh, another one of dust." He's always making mistakes. As I said, he's got fluff and twigs in his head, not a brain. Anyway, so he forgets about it, but you know, the mother doesn't. She don't let it lie. 1 year later, the devil comes back. Now, this lass, this poor little girl, she's in the garden. She's crying her eyes out. She's, "What's wrong with the devil? Oh, I'm scared of the devil." And she's got all tears all running down her hands. Now, nobody knows this, so I'll tell you. Keep it a secret, though. The devil is allergic to water, right? He's also allergic to dams and jam. It makes him poo his pants. So, you know, store that information. It could come in handy. But all her hands are covered in water, so he can't take her because he'll break out in a rash. So he says, "Good man, I will come back tomorrow, make sure the child is dry and not moist." You know, this baker says, "Okay, Mr. Devil," because he's a pillock, isn't he? He's just a right Burke. So the next day, the devil comes back. She's crying her eyes out still. She's scared to death. She's freaked to death, this lass is. "Oh, devil's to the devil. Oh, I don't want to go with the devil. I don't want to live with the devil. What are they doing to me?" Right, so the devil says, "I've had enough of this, good man. Wet or not, I will take the child whether she's moist or not. Fetch that axe." And he tells the baker to get the axe, and he orders the baker to chop off the girl's hands. Now, this baker, he is stupid, but he's not that much of an idiot. And he says, "Well, you can't just do that, you blinking nincompoop. She'll bleed to death." And the devil says, "Don't worry, my good man. I have hot, foul, and smoky breath. I will cauterize the wounds. She will be safe, and I will take her." He says, "Okay then, sounds like science to me." Chop, chop, and her hands go on the floor. Mad, isn't it? Right, so she's crying then, really crying, because it stings a bit, you know, and she's crying, and there's blood, and it's all still wet, you know, so the devil can't take her. And he says, "I will have my revenge on you, little girl." And he goes off in a huff. Right, so this girl's had enough of this, and she says, "Right, I'm going to run away." And she runs away, and she's wandering through a forest, right, and she sees a castle, and she thinks, "Oh, look, there's an orchard over there, but I can't get in there because there's a moat." That's like a ring of water around the castle, so you can't get in. And she's got a guardian angel, this girl has, but she doesn't know. The guardian angel comes down, and he lies down in the moat so she can cross the water like an angelic bridge. She gets across, and she's eating the fruit. Well, it's very difficult, so she's more like doing this, eating the fruit like pears off the tree, you know. Every now and again, she's using the nubbins just to get some purchase, you know. But mostly she's just nibbling away like that. Now, the orchard keeper sees this, and he says, "What the blinking heck's that? Is that a magical girl with no hands? Surely my eyes deceive me." But he goes and he says to the king, "Look, I know that all the pears are supposed to be accounted for, and we've numbered them, but someone's been thieving them." The king goes he goes mental, and he says, "Right, if you don't sort this problem out, I'm going to kick you so hard in the bum and so hard in the legs that your life will leave your body. I'll kick you so hard, I'll kick you to death." And he says, "No, look, honestly, Gov, come and look. come and observe. So he says, all right, I'll give you a chance. I'll observe this. And if it's lies, I'm going to kick you in the bum and in the legs to death. Right, so the next night they go and they have a stakeout. That means they watch in the darkness and see what goes on. Now, they see, and he sees that it's true. There's this like magical girl with no hands wandering round in the orchard. She looks like a little chipmunk, doesn't she? Taking all the pears. So this, oh sorry, he's got hands. So this king, he thinks, oh, she's quite good looking, but she's not old enough yet. So what I'm going to do, so this story remains legal, is I'm going to get her into the castle, and in a couple of years I'll marry her when she's of age. That's what it was like in them days. Don't blame me. Don't shoot the messenger. Right, so he gets her in, and they get married, and they learn to love each other. And one day they love each other so much that they have a baby. Well, they make a baby, and it's in the belly, right? And he has to go away, this king does, because sometimes he has to go and look at his other lands and make sure that, you know, the people are behaving themselves. And if they're not, he kicks them to death, kicks their poor little heads off. So he goes and he says, look, send me a letter if the baby comes, and I'll run straight back, or I'll probably get on a horse and cart, and I'll come straight back. And they say, okay, king, bye. And she waves goodbye, bye, okay. And he goes off, right? So while they're away, the queen, she's staying with her mother-in-law. That's the king's mum. And the mother-in-law in this story is nice, which is statistically improbable, but she's nice in this story. The baby starts to come. The baby's about to be born. So they give a messenger a letter and say, run and send this message to the king. He runs, but he's a dosser. He's really tired anyway, and he's stayed up too late at night. And he has to have a bit of a sleep. While he's asleep, the devil creeps in, changes the letter, and the letter now says, King, the queen gave birth to a monster, right? The messenger takes it to the king. The king says, well, I still love him, and I'll wait to see, but I do love him, and I'll not overreact. So he writes that in the letter and says, send this back. So this messenger, he's a lazy little one. He runs back, but he gets tired again and has a sleep under the same tree. Now the devil swaps the letter again, and it says, Dear mother, please kill the queen and the monster baby. Signed, your son, the king. So the letter gets back, and the mother-in-law, she reads it and goes, oh no, now I've got to kill. And she says, right, shh, don't tell anyone. I will kill a deer that we've got as a pet called Bambi. I will kill that, and then we'll take the skin off and we'll throw the horns away, and it'll look like I've killed you, all the blood and entrails, but you'll have to run off. So she ties her hands like that and ties the baby to her back, and she runs away. She hasn't even named the baby yet. It's just been born, isn't it? Right, so she's wandering again, and she's wandering, and she's cold, and she's hungry, and she wanders into this forest. The guardian angels led her to an angel's forest where all the angels live and just hang out when they're not doing jobs for God, you know, when they've got a day off at weekends or something. Right, so she seems like, oh, I'll stay here, you know. The baby, who she's named Boy, because, you know, she can't think of anything at the moment. She's a bit stressed out. And there's food here, so that it's like a camping holiday for him. The king comes back, and he's dead upset, and he goes, right, I'll not rest until I find my wife and my child, the boy. And that was just a guess. He doesn't know what the name is, but the name accidentally is Boy. Right, so they go, and he's wandering this earth, his beard grows really long, and he can't find her. He stumbles into this forest, and he's just about to die. He's so weary, his beard's got all really long and that, and he hasn't had a wash for ages. He stinks to high heavens, and he falls asleep in this forest. Now, the magical forest, the guardian angel sees it and says to the queen, wake up, wake up. She says, whoa, sleeping, you'll wake the boy. And you'll wake Boy, sorry. And she says, oh, look who this is. And she says, do my eyes deceive me? And puts her hands up, puts her wrist nubs up and says, oh, that's my husband, is that? I thought he was dead. Oh, I thought he'd abandoned me. And she says, no, he was looking for you this whole time. And just as they say this, the king starts to wake up magically. Oh. And he sees his wife and the boy. And he's dead excited. And all the love that's generated makes her hands magically grow back. Like that. And they're like, yeah. And they're giving each other hugs and they're giving it high fives. Because she can do them now. High fives. Big tens. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, congratulations, oh, this is your son. Oh, hello, Leonard. What? Oh, you're called Leonard, I've just named you. Oh, I'm not boy anymore. No, you're Leonard, get used to it. Oh, big tens, high fives. And they all lived happily ever after. And the moral of that story is, it's a mad world, isn't it?